All right, now we got a fresh one.
Oh, love a good fresh one.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, nice.
All right, let's see. Where's the damn button? I don't even...
Press the damn button.
You would think I'd get used to... Oh, I don't have any of this turned up yet.
Oh,
Press the damn button, nerd.
There we go. What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murf back once again for what we trust will be a fantastic episode of the Raiders Fan Radio Rundown. This is where me and my best friend and yours, Swag Jeff, we discuss the hot topics of the day.
Hey.
Whatever's going on in Raider Nation, you'll hear about it here on Raiders Fan Radio. We appreciate you joining in live with us. Actually, we're not live. We're pre-recorded.
yeah.
But we're still doing the premiere on the YouTube, so there's still a chat room in there.
Yes, there is. Yeah, so hello, chat room.
What's up, chat room?
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Well, I should probably introduce you, huh?
Well, yeah.
Give it up for my best friend and yours, the man that adorns the eastern annex of the Murf's Fan Cave desk. He is Swag Jeff.
It's styling and profiling.
Well, yeah.
What up, Swaggo?
Hey, man. Oh, it was a crazy busy week at work and all that stuff, but this weekend it's combine time.
Yes.
And I'm fired
The
up
underwear
for it, man.
Olympics.
Yes, I'm here for it, man. It's something. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's only been like a month and a half since football, or almost 2 months since football. But
Yeah.
like, I'm jonesing, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm ready because the off season is our favorite time of the year anyway, right?
Well,
I mean,
unfortunately.
the last several years, as
Yeah.
long as I've been a Raider fan, off season is the most fun. But
Unfortunately, yeah. I've always enjoyed the combine. The combine is like some of the best naps you can take. Like combine, especially when it was Rich Eisen and Mike Mayock. So combine, great nap. Masters, sports naps. Combine, Masters, especially early rounds of the Masters,
Yep.
like that Saturday.
Yep.
Or that Saturday's not early, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
It's not as like
Jim
it's
Nance
not
talking you to sleep.
Yes, it's not one on Saturday. It's one on Sunday. So then when it's like the competition starts to ramp up, you start to get a little more into it and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I have a tougher time sleeping on Sunday. But that Saturday and then regular season baseball.
Yes.
I put on an A's game, dude, and I mean, and I love baseball, but regular season baseball, like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? And when
Yep.
baseball in July,
Exactly.
like, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah. So anyways, combine naps. Where do you, okay, let's rank them.
Okay.
If those are the three, Masters nap is number one to me.
Oh, easy.
Yeah?
Easy, 100%. Yeah. And and I really like the baseball one too. Because I'm with you too. Like because the announcers don't talk. I mean, they talk or whatever, but it's not super loud or anything like that. So you still get that white noise of people jostling around in their seats.
Yeah.
You know, people tapping bats and all that kind of stuff. And it's perfect.
So baseball number two, and then combine would then come in probably number three. Yeah. So baseball's good too because it's like you go out into the yard in the summertime. You work in the yard. You have a few pops while you're in the yard working. You come in, you get cleaned up, and you just want to get nice and cooled off on the couch. You got a little bit of a buzz.
Yep.
You flip on a baseball game.
Yep.
Lights
100%.
out, bro.
So like this weekend, for instance, you could crack a couple of cold ones, do what you do, and then lay on the couch and fall asleep to offensive linemen running the 40. Because you hear that dum, 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 dum.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so talk about the combine. We got some good stuff. So we're recording this on Friday,
Yes.
March 1st. And so tomorrow is, what do we got? Quarterbacks going tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the big day.
Tonight we got corners.
Corners and corners and safeties.
So
and all that.
DBs, yeah.
All DBs. Yep.
Yeah, so that's so that should be fun tomorrow. A lot to look out for Raider Nation, and so I've got a few sound bites for you here. Interesting stuff there coming out. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about this because this is what led us to say we started talking about this in the office. Jeff and I were doing the day job, and we're like, well, wait a minute. Like, let's just go flip on the mics and talk about this.
Yeah.
Talk about this.
Michelle's not here, but podcast dad over here, he started yelling at me. Stop talking about anything football. Let's go turn on the freaking mics.
Heck yeah, we got done working, and I'm like, so we started talking about the stuff we talk about. I'm like, well, no, if we're going to talk this, then we're going to do it with our crew.
Exactly.
So thank you for everybody in the chat room joining us live tonight. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm with QB Jeff I don't care for Caleb Williams.
I don't like him.
QB Jeff will tell you that he doesn't care for Caleb Williams because everything he does is off schedule. And that while he is a very creative playmaker, when you rely on that solely, it doesn't translate well to the NFL. And if he is relying on being solely a off-schedule playmaker, that means that he's not reading the defense as effectively as someone that's not doing things off schedule, because it's not like it's off schedule because, you know, it's like Bryce Young and the Panthers, where it's like the defense is at his feet like instantly, where he doesn't even have 2 seconds to drop back.
Sure.
Caleb Williams is hanging on the ball, then starts moving around as the protection starts to break down. And again, makes some very athletic, impressive throws, but it's never within the confines of the offense. And so that's why a guy like QB Jeff, who's an X's and O's guy, which I am not, but that's why he doesn't care for Caleb Williams. Well, then the other side of it, today, the kind of the reveal, and I didn't know a lot about him other than his performance at USC and watching USC occasionally this year. That's the only thing I knew about him. I never heard an interview with him or any of that kind of stuff. I don't typically get into that, the minutia of college football, because I'm paying so much attention to pro football, mainly the Raiders during the season, that I just don't have the bandwidth to dig into all the college football.
Sure.
So all that said, his overall posture around the combine, the optics are not good.
No.
I don't care for it, Jeff.
No.
You know?
No, absolutely not. Well, you know, you said that QB Jeff says that all of his stuff on the field is off schedule. He started off his NFL career off schedule with this combine stuff. You know, he declines, you know, the medical stuff, the medical tests and all that kind of stuff, which they found that Kool-Aid McKinstry has like a fractured foot or something like that. So like, you know, I mean, these doctors find stuff that like maybe the guy didn't even know that he had and stuff like that. But like this off schedule stuff, him not doing that, he's not even participating in the combine itself. And he's not even talking to every team. He's only talking to the select few because he said 32 teams can't draft Caleb Williams. I don't know. It just all comes across as very full of myself. And I think you made the great reference of, you know, he kind of reminds you like a Cam Newton, you know, in some of the comments that he made during this press conference today, talking about, you know, I want to rewrite my own history and, you know, but it was all individually stuff. It had nothing to do with, you know, his, you know, future teammates or anything like that. I don't know, man. And he even said in a meeting with Tom Pelissero, was talking about, you know, he said something like, you know, as long as I'm going number one, I'm cool. Like, watch that guy slip down, and we're gonna see that guy's real character. Have you ever seen the movie Draft Day?
Oh yeah.
It's just gonna be like Bo Callahan. You know, you're gonna see him fall and see him start freaking out. So, which I don't think that'll happen. He'll still go number one, I think. But you know, I don't know.
That the whole idea that you're above anything, that flies all over me. And he's not charismatic, frankly. It's like, you know, at least Cam, and the reason that I compared him to Cam was not in terms of game, but in terms of just, again, that posturing. But at least Cam had a big smile, and he had a big personality, and he was, you know what I mean? Like, at least he was charismatic. It just wasn't real, you know, I don't gravitate towards people like that have that boastfulness about them. Cam, you know, said, I want to be an icon, or I want to be iconic. He didn't say, I look forward to taking my next team to the Super Bowl. He was, you know what I mean? Like, his goals were to become an icon. And that just, so that reminded me a lot of what Caleb Williams had to say. But Caleb Williams' delivery is not even that good. So I'm just like, is this the kind of guy you want to introduce into your locker? And maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe I'm dead ass wrong, and Jeff is dead ass wrong, and you're dead ass wrong. But I just don't see it. And when he said that, because he was asked numerous times why he didn't want to throw, and he would say, and everything else. And he said, well, I made the decision with my team. I made the decision with my family. And there's a common thought out there from a lot of folks that, well, what does he have to do? Like, he can only do himself harm by participating because he's already just the consensus overall number one pick. I push back on that, Jeff.
Okay.
Because while you may not be doing yourself any harm, you're not doing yourself any good either. But guess who is doing good for themselves? Jaden Daniels.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Now you got guys who are charismatic, have a freaking smile on their face when they're doing their interviews, are engaged in the entirety of this process. So there's already talk about, oh, wait a minute, is Jaden doing enough to make him the potential number 1 pick? I hope to God he isn't, and it isn't, not for his sake, but for our sake, because that's the guy that I want to be a Raider quarterback. And I don't want us to have to move up to number 1 to go get him.
Right.
Because I got a feeling, man, and we're going to play his comments here in a second. I got a feeling old AP wants his guy back.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
And so, but I think that's the harm that Caleb Williams does, is that you allow others to shine and take a little bit of the shine off of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? And that whole, like, well, just go look at my tape. Man, it just engage in the and that's something that I'll never not understand. As a fan, why I don't get not engaging in the process. Now, listen, if you're hurt or if there's something going on that was going to limit your performance, then fine. Then, I'm not going to throw, whatever, because of a thing. I had a thing that came up in a workout the other day. I don't think I'll be as effective as I need to be. Of course, I know that could be a red flag too, but it just, to me, like, outside of a very specific reason, I guess is what I'm trying to say, engage in the entirety of the process. That's where it comes out for me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no one's, we always say no one's bigger than the Shield, in the Raider organization. No one's bigger than the NFL Shield either. You know what I mean? And I feel like, and a lot of people were really applauding him that, he decided to take this route, and I think it's going to make route a lot easier in the future for some of these other, future players to follow suit with Caleb Williams and not participate and all this kind of stuff. And I'm with you. I really think it just, okay, you're not a team player. You're going to do things your own way. You're going to have your own private workouts. You're only going to talk to certain teams. Who wants that in their locker room? I'm not with it. And, you see guys like Jaden Daniels, and I'm sure we've got some clips that we're going to play a little bit, even hearing from JJ McCarthy. I think he's very charismatic.
Moving up big time.
He's moving up big time. Another guy that I'm saying, I didn't see an interview yet, but another guy I'm seeing kind of climb up the ladders a little bit is Rattler out of South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Spencer Rattler, which that would be kind of fitting in Las Vegas, right? Have a Rattler out in the desert or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you might see some of these guys start creeping up, and yeah, Caleb isn't doing himself anything.
No, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. The optics at a minimum, I think, are just not good for that young man. And listen, I know we got a lot of Southern California listeners, and all you USC fans probably think we're full of shit, but I'm just telling you, that's on the outside looking in. That's the way it looks. And if you've got, something else you can hip us to help influence our opinion, we're not sitting here trying to be right. I'm just telling you what the optics are as a fan sitting here looking at it. So very interesting stuff there. All right, let's go ahead and get into some of these comments.
Hold on. Both things can be true there.
Okay, get it.
Because USC, Caleb Williams was a fantastic quarterback, obviously, Heisman Trophy winner, all this stuff. I mean, on the college level, one of the greatest college quarterbacks that college football has seen in a minute. I mean, his play on the. I mean, I know his last season he kind of, Well,
they fell off hard.
Fell off pretty hard or whatever. But I mean, he was playing an elite level. So all that can be true for all the USC fans. Like, not discrediting your quarterback in any way, but transitioning it to the pro level.
And that's where
I think it might miss the mark.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's get into some of these comments. Let's see. Let's jump in the first one here. Let's see. Jaden Daniels tells Josina Anderson he's got plenty of love for the Raiders, and of course, his former coach at Arizona State.
Had your relationship with Antonio Pierce. Obviously, back to your days at Arizona State as your recruiting coordinator. Now, the thing that's probably interesting too is the teams that potentially could come up for you. Right. What do you think is the potential that AP? He's talked about how much he knows you, could potentially come up for you.
Man, we're going to see. We are going to see. AP is a great guy. He's the right guy for the job. And if he did and I hear my name called and on draft day I hear my phone call ring and it's AP, I don't know what I'll do. So we'll see. But right now, I'm just blessed. I'll take it day by day. I'll let everybody handle that. That's what they're for. I'm focused on being the best player, the best version of myself.
Because I
love that, man. And so for those of you that are on the audio podcast, you can't see the look on his face. He's happy to be where he's at. He's happy to be sitting there talking to Josina Anderson. He's happy at that idea that Antonio Pierce might move up or the Raiders might move up to come get him. Like, just the optics of that versus the optics again. And I'm not going to make this sit here and just vilify Caleb Williams the whole time, but that's something that I can get behind and root for as a fan. And then you know, for those that have listened to this show long enough, we are, you know, notorious for saying around here, don't get attached to players. Because if you attach yourself to a player, especially as a Raider fan of recent history, you attach yourself to a player, Josh Allen, next thing you know, he's in a Jaguars uniform and you've got Cleveland Farrell, right? Like so those things happen. Or whatever, that player might end up being a Bronco or a Charger or whatever, and then you have to hate them. So so I don't get attached to athletes in that term. I get attached to them when they become Raiders. That's when my attachment comes in. So that said, I'm having a hard time not rooting for Jaden Daniels to become our next quarterback.
I couldn't agree more, you know? I mean, and yes, you don't get attached to players, but I can get attached to that guy's mentality. I can get attached to that guy's demeanor, the way he carries himself. Even in that interview, I was watching that. I hadn't heard that. I was watching that for the first time. You can see he's like giddy. He's excited. And then when he starts talking about Antonio Pierce, like, man, if I see his name popping up on my phone, like, I'm going to be so fired up. You know, I mean, and I think that guy gets, and that dude's a Raider, man. Like, I mean, he was in the locker room during that Bronco game, supporting his former coach and future coach, maybe. You know, I don't know, but like, you know, he's talking about he's the perfect guy for the job and all that kind of stuff. Those are the guys that Antonio Pierce wants to fill his locker room with.
Yes,
that buy in, that get things the Raider way, all that. And I don't want to get too attached, but I can get attached to things that I see out of him. And that's who I want in my quarterback.
Well, and there's a lot to be said for reading the tea leaves, Jeff.
Yeah.
And the tea leaves are all telling us that, like, I mean, Antonio Pierce put out that tweet. Did you see the tweet that he put out with, I can't remember exactly what it was. Basically, it was like, he said, like, he tagged Terrell Owens and then he wrote, that's my quarterback. That's my quarterback with a bunch of fingers pointing down. And it was a picture of Jaden Daniels in his Arizona State uniform. Yeah. I'm like, that's pretty freaking. You're not even telegraphing that. You're just kind of telling what you know what I mean?
Sure.
I wonder how much of that was him spilling the tea there, or just being supportive of his guy. Either way, it wouldn't surprise me, man, if the Raiders sold the farm to go get him. Now, I think the thing that's going to be interesting is that has he done enough to leapfrog maybe not Caleb Williams, but Drake May? Like, now are we looking that if the Raiders want to go sell the farm for Jaden Daniels, do we got to negotiate with Washington?
And I don't know if Washington's going to, because Washington needs a quarterback. Yeah. They're not going to drop down to 13. You know, I mean, unless they find some slam dunk in free agency, that's going to be the key, really, is free agency. You know, here in a couple of weeks when the league year opens up, we're going to see, you know, who are some of these other guys? Where are they going to go? All that stuff. What's Justin Fields going to do? All that stuff. Because, I mean, frankly, there might be a situation where we have to trade up to number 1 to go get him. Because if Caleb Williams goes number 1 and we want Jaden Daniels might be gone at 2. You know, and, you know, okay, if we trade for 3 and we end up with Drake May, but like,
which is not a bad scenario either.
No,
but,
not at all.
But I think Jaden Daniels is the guy that we all want.
But I think it's going to be crucial to see what happens in free agency. See if any of these, like, say Washington goes and snags somebody or whatever, then they might
get Justin Fields, and then they can draft Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 2nd pick.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like something like that.
100%. You know, or they grab somebody and then trade, and we have to trade with them. They trade back to 13, and then they go get, you know, JJ McCarthy. Or Bo Nix or Penix or, you know, whoever, but, you know.
Yeah, and then there you go. And even if they were to sign a lesser expensive quarterback, so say that you've got Justin Fields and J.J. McCarthy in your quarterback room, and you've got Marvin Harrison Jr. for crying out loud. Like, that's a pretty good nucleus to start off the next phase of your football team. You know what I mean? So for a new coaching staff especially. So that's interesting, man. It's interesting. I'll just say this, man, and it's not a unique thought, but just to vocalize it, this is one of the most compelling draft seasons we've had in a long time as Raider fans. I mean, draft season's always fun anyways, but when you don't have a first, 2 picks in the draft, you don't have a first or a second round pick because you've been traded for Devontae Adams, like, it kind of takes some of the luster off of it for us as fans. But now, not only are we drafting above the middle of the pack, I know barely, but still, but we have a very what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. Consequential need at quarterback.
Well, and there's
a bunch of good ones in this draft.
And you're exactly right, because this is the first time in a long time since 2014 that the Raiders have been in market for a first round quarterback. You know, I mean, you even look at last year, you know, they let Derek Carr go and, you know, but we signed Jimmy Garoppolo. So the signs were pointing that they weren't going to do what they needed to do to, you know, get a quarterback in the first round or whatever, even though a couple of them wanted to, you know, with CJ Stroud. But yeah, but this is the first time unanimously that everyone knows that the Raiders need a quarterback. And so we're in the hunt. And we've watched these things happen over the course of the last decade of, you know, wow, look at that talent. Look at that guy. Look at this guy. Well, we've got Derek, so it's all good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
but
yeah.
like, so this is the first time in a really long time that we're like, we're in the mix. Like, what are we going to do? Yeah, there's a little extra stank on it. You know what I mean?
Hey, speaking of Garoppolo, did you hear the story that Schefter told about?
Yes.
Did you hear about this?
Yes.
So about and tell me if I get this right, and this isn't entirely Raider related, but it's a really interesting story.
It is.
So the Niners were looking at Mahomes to draft Mahomes, but then decided to not get in the mix for Mahomes because Kirk Cousins was coming out of Washington and they were in play to get Kirk Cousins. Then they get a phone call from the Patriots saying that they're moving on from Garoppolo.
Give us a second.
Give us a second. So they make the move to get Garoppolo, and ultimately, so they've passed on Mahomes, passed on Kirk Cousins, roll with Jimmy G. They trade Jimmy G to us.
Yeah, but you forgot a part of that.
What was the part?
So the third round, they drafted C.J. Beathard.
Oh, that's right. See, that's C.J. Beathard. That was the part. Yeah. So then they draft C.J. Beathard. Then C.J. Beathard goes to
Jacksonville.
And they get a seventh.
Yep.
Because they get a compensatory seventh
pick.
round pick.
Yep.
And with that pick, they selected Brock Purdy.
There you go.
What a tangled web we weave.
Yep.
Unbelievable, man.
Yep.
That's unbelievable. Can you imagine if it would have been the Niners? Actually, I would have preferred it. As much as I hate the Niners, I would have rather have them ended up with Mahomes because then we would have to see his ugly ass twice a year.
Yep. Just once a year in the Super Bowl.
Hey, that's my guy. Give it up for Swag Jeff. All right. All right. So,
because if that would have happened, we would have been in the Super Bowl every year. Right?
Every year.
Lord.
So I've got some more stuff in here from Jaden Daniels. We'll skip that because we've kind of talked that one through. Let's see. Oh, this is something. Oh, this son of a bitch. All right.
Pendejo of the week.
Oh, this if we ever said mother. Mike Lombardi. This freaking guy.
Oh, Lord.
This Mike Lombardi, man. So listen, I'm not spreading new news here. He's always been a Raider hater.
Sure.
Like, that's been a common theme.
Sure.
Well, then we fired his freaking kid this year, right? And so now he's even more of a Raider hater. And listen to this about what he had to say about Antonio Pierce. I'm going to play this, and then we're going to go to you, Jeff. It's about a minute long. Listen to this sumbitch.
Playing tough. It's like when you light a torch and you draft a guy who doesn't even run a 40. You know, I mean, you clearly have no idea about the Raider way. I mean, we have a presentation for the Daily Coach about grading players. Obviously the Daily Coach is a leadership website, but we're going to talk about how to hire people essentially, because grading systems are no different than hiring people. And so if you don't have a prototype of what you're looking for, how the hell can you really scout? Right? You don't have that's why all these mock drafts are comical, because if you don't have a prototype of what the coaches want or what's in your system. See, the Raider way isn't a word. It's about this is the prototype of the player we want at this position. This is the prototype of the player we want at that position. That's the Raider way. See, this is what's just so comical. And he's talking about, because he's from Compton, he thinks he knows the Raider way. It's a joke.
Yeah. It's
Swag Jeff.
I bet you won't tell it to his face.
I bet you won't.
Bet you won't. Yeah. Get all the way the F out of here with that stuff, dude. Like, he doesn't.
Dude, eat a bag of.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
With both hands. Yeah. He doesn't get it. Like, you know.
Like culture isn't the Raider way? Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, because what he's saying is not wrong. I mean, in the idea that you want fast physical corners, that's the Raider way. You want someone that can push the ball downfield. That's the Raider way. You want to have a hard-hitting physical defense. That's the Raider way. I get it. Willie Brown was the prototype for Al Davis cornerbacks. A guy with size that can press you at the line of scrimmage and still run with you downfield. Willie Brown is the prototype for what Al Davis ever wanted in defensive backs. So I get that idea. But to completely dismiss the importance of culture and the importance of atmosphere and attitude and dismiss Antonio Pierce's accomplishments by saying, oh, just because he's from Compton, he thinks he knows the Raiders way, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's comical. He called him comical.
Yeah.
God dang it, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I can't stand Michael Lombardi. Mike Lombardi might have shot above freaking Florio now in terms of guys that I just absolutely cannot stand in media. Like, I mean, what a nonsensical, misguided statement.
Yeah. And, and I wonder if any of that stems, and I feel, because,
it's sour grapes, dude.
That's all it is.
Because Al Davis fired his ass.
There you go.
Al Davis famously said he's been fired from every job he's ever had. And now his kid is too.
Yep. There you go. Yeah. So he can't speak on that at all, but like, also add into the mix that all these people got so freaking butthurt about Antonio Pierce's comments about Patrick Mahomes and how, it's the Mahomes rule and all this kind of stuff or whatever. But like, just get out of here with that stuff. Like, just any opportunity to hate on the Raiders, a guy like Lombardi is going to take every time.
Yep.
Every time.
This is why I can't wait for us to return to freaking excellence, man.
Yep.
That's why we need to shut these freaking people up. Enough of it. It's bad enough that we have the negative commentary and criticism within the fan base, but you got national media pundits like this going off on the radio. It's just
taking personal shots. Really.
It really is.
That was personal.
Hell yeah, that was personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't conceptual.
That wasn't like this is a new head coach. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Insulting where he's from and that he doesn't know shit about the Raiders. Like
Mike Lombardi knows more about the Raiders?
Okay.
Get off again.
Get out of here.
Ugh. Yep. God dang it, Jeff.
Ridiculous.
Oh, I hate that Mike Lombardi. All right, let's see what else I got up here. Let's check in with this one. I don't know. Let's just check in here.
What is this?
What is this? Oh, here we go. Let's return back to talking about a little bit what's going on here and in the combine. This is Antonio Pierce doing an interview talking about what he's looking for in a quarterback.
Okay.
I want a guy that can lead, that wants to compete. I want a guy that's not afraid of a challenge, because this is a big challenge that we have in front of us, especially you got the world champs in our division again. You know what you got to deal with each and every year, as long as Patrick Mahomes in that division. And I want somebody that says, you know what, I want to go for that challenge, because that's the same way I look at it going against, those three head coaches in this division. And then somebody that just wants to really compete. I want to see that competitive spirit in our quarterback. A guy that, when the game's on the line, he wants the ball in different ways, either making the throws, doing it with his legs, or, putting us in the right call. So those are the things I'm really looking for, those intangibles. I don't want to go with the unknown. I want to go with a proven winner and somebody that knows what it's like to grind and go through some adversity, because we're going to go through that.
I love that, man.
I love it too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I love it too. And I feel like we've got this feel from Antonio Pierce for a long time, but that interview right there really shows that I think he's going to build an offense with the quarterback. He's going to use Getsy. He's going to have himself, and he's going to have his quarterback and go, let's build this offense. He said, whether it's through the air with his legs or otherwise, just win, baby. Just get it done. Just get out there and compete. Take that ball.
And what a concept to actually build a system around a quarterback instead of trying to insert someone into your system and your way and you're this and you're that because you're a guru and you're I will forever, and I supported Josh McDaniels when he was our head coach, and he was my favorite head coach in the league. Well, till the end, till the true colors were revealed. Right. Yeah, but early on, and I knew about his system, but in my gut. And I'm putting this on the record right now. If we ever end up with another system freaking coach of some sort, I'm a firm believer that the truest demonstration of coaching ability is your ability to step into a new situation or a changed situation, whatever the case may be, and build something around the talent that's already in the building. Antonio Pierce is already even talking about, and I think it was even Jack Jones too, that was making comments about like, it's here we are in February. It's March now, but the comments were made, here we are in February, and I still got guys going at it. I still got Max showing up at 6 a.m. along with 17 other teammates now at 6 a.m. to the facility to work out. So they've got dogs in-house. They got guys that are committed. What a concept. Come in and build something around the guys that you have in the building now instead of turning over your roster a whole shit ton to accommodate your freaking dopey-ass system. So I love this concept that not only is he doing that with the guys that are there, but like you just said, and very well, take that quarterback, whoever that young man is, what does he do best? And then we're going to build out from there, man. That gets me excited as a fan.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree. And I love that you brought up Max Crosby there, too, because we can't do an episode of Raiders Fan Radio without talking about Max. You know what I mean? But, like, you said that Max Crosby effect of him and, you know, now 17 other people coming in February at 6 a.m. working out, Jack Jones included and all that stuff. Did you see the interviews, you know, pre-combine of all these defensive linemen talking about who's a guy that you want to play like? Who's a guy that you want to mimic your game after and all that stuff? How many people said number 98? It's Max Crosby. It's got to be Max Crosby. The tenacity of that dude, the never stop, never give up, never come off the field, all that stuff. Like, this dude, if this guy never wins Defensive Player of the Year, that's going to be bananas. Like, because literally we're going to eventually probably, you know, not the motor that Max Crosby had. We're going to start having a bunch of Max Crosbys running around the NFL football field because all these guys, you know, I mean, we're going to see a lot of these people, they want to be Max.
They want to be Max.
Yeah.
You know what? And I think that we're on the precipice. Max, as we've talked about around here a lot, he's already on the short list of some of the greatest Raiders of all time. He might end up being the face of the NFL before this thing is over. You know what I mean?
Truth.
Let him go ahead and win a championship or two. He'll be the next Mike Strahan, J.J. Watt. Like, you think about like different defensive players that have been the face of the league.
Yeah.
We might
Aaron Donald and all those kind of guys.
Yeah, we might be barreling down on something like that, man. Like, really, really interesting stuff there. So yeah, great call out there, Jeff. And all right, Raider Nation, we got a boogie on out of here, but we just wanted to jump on here with you, chat with you guys for a little bit. Thank you to everybody that is in the chat room tonight. We love you guys so very, very much. You can find us live each and every Wednesday night at Raiders Fan Radio by going to youtube.com/Raiders Fan Radio. And you can also find us on any audio podcast service. Shout out the good folks at Fansided and Just Blog Baby, where we are the official Raiders podcast. So definitely patronize those websites, please. And do us a favor. If you follow us on the audio podcast, hit a subscribe over on the YouTube channel. It helps us out a ton, helps us generate advertising revenue, and we give all that money away to the One Nation Foundation. And also, please, if you are on the YouTubes and you don't listen to us on the audio podcast, go download it on any of your favorite audio podcast services just by searching for Raiders Fan Radio. All right, everybody have a good weekend. We love you guys so very much. Swag Jeff, take us out of here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for being here. All the folks in the chat, like we said, this is not live, so we can't see who's in there, but we know who you are because you're here every single time, and we love and thank you and respect the hell out of you. But yeah, enjoy the weekend. Our future's in this weekend. Future starts now, man.
Oh, let's go.
The future starts now. Enjoy the combine. Tomorrow's going to be an amazing day with the quarterbacks. We're going to have the defensive guys today. Some of these guys are Raiders, man, and I think you'll be able to pick out which ones you think they are. But we love you. We can't thank you enough. Thank you for supporting the One Nation Foundation. Everything that we do here on behalf of Michelle, Uncle Mach, QB Jeff, Murf. I'm Swag Jeff. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, boys and girls, what happens in Vegas is started in Oakland. We love you.
Get out of YouTube.
Goodbye.
Enjoy that nap tomorrow.
Well, yeah. No, don't sleep tomorrow. That's the quarterbacks. That's good
shit. Watch the lineman replays on NFL Network.
There you go.
Take a nap with that shit.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys.
See you, bye.